Hey, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Str8Up Show podcast. I am your host, Calvin, joined by my two co-hosts, Brandon and Lee. And we have special guests today because this is our 1 year episode. We finally made it. Before I even go into anything, I have to bring on my special co-host who have been a phenomenal help this season. Brandon and Lee are my two main co-hosts, but we have Christina and CJ. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing today?
I'm good. It's good to be back for a while.
Wonderful, sir. We're doing good up in this piece.
1 year. It has been one freaking year. Oh my god. I'm kind of speechless.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited because I still remember just talking about getting Calvin to like really bring things back, and having it on the podcast it's grown so much. The amount of growth for just Str8Up in general and just the support, mind blowing. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, and this has been a phenomenal ride. I want to thank you all, you for being a part of this journey, Christina and CJ, on multiple platform or multiple episodes, and it's been a crazy year. And as Brandon said, that this has been a ride because as most of you know, this isn't our first type of deal with Str8Up. We started off as a TV show in college, me, Brandon, Lee, and Courtney. And it grew phenomenally there. Of course, politics, whatever you want to have it, they happened in school. And so, of course, we graduated, the show kind of filtered away. And so many people liked the content we were doing at school that we put it on our own Facebook channel, had a little video vlog, whatever you want to call it. People love that. But of course, life happens, and then it got away then. And so, as story goes, is that people, once again, they kept asking for it. And so, I didn't know. And for those who know that I had an accident, me, Brandon, and Lee worked in news for a long time, and we needed to do something more. And I was challenged by Matthew Mixon out in California, and he challenged me to do something with my voice. And Brandon, of course, anchored it, and Lee definitely one of those ones that kind of encouraged me as well. So it's been a phenomenal ride. I can't even tell you. It's so much that we've done with this show. And Brandon, big thanks to you, and Lee, man, thanks to y'all.
Yeah, just by for actually that makes this 1 year anniversary even bigger than what I thought, because you're right. This is the first time Str8Up has actually gone a whole year nonstop.
Nonstop, yeah, and
Nonstop.
nonstop. And that's kind of something that we didn't want to do because there were so many people sticking their fingers in it. And this is like our first time to where we can do it organically without having to be filtered, because the show's called Str8Up. So, I mean, at that time, we didn't want to be a part of something that wasn't scripted, that was scripted and not in control, because we want being our authentic selves. And of course, we were able to spin it and do so much things with this. And we had great episodes, great guests, CJ being one of them. And then we had some people that we kicked off the show, like Christina. But she somehow but she somehow made her way back to the show. But no, we're just kidding. I think Christina gave me one of my favorite pieces of this show and actually teared me up. So we have a little banter, but we're all family here. So we're going to party, y'all. This is going to be a great episode for all of you who are listening right now, or you actually watching this on YouTube. Man, thank y'all. I can't say it so much. I mean, you'll hear me say thank you a lot, because I'm very grateful, very blessed to have an incredible team, not only with these 5 people on the stage right now, but the people all over the world, because this isn't just us 5. There are people in other countries that help us out too. So this is celebrating not only me and our team, but it's celebrating them and our listeners and people that support us. So with that being said, we have a lot on the schedule today on this episode. We're going to have some guests, previous guests, some listeners that you probably have never heard of, but they love our show. Actually supporters too. And guess what, Lee and CJ and Christina and Brandon, we
What's
have
that?
a celebrity guest.
Really now? Ooh.
Mm.
Who could it be? We're going to have this, that, and much more coming up on the Straight Up Show podcast 1 year anniversary episode. Stay tuned because you don't want to miss.
Straight up, congratulations. 1 year, man, y'all. This is big. I am so proud of y'all. I remember when it was just an idea. I remember when it was a college show. I have been watching y'all grow. My very favorite episode is the barbershop episode. I love hearing men just let it all out, not worrying about what people have to say, letting their feelings flow, just being honest. I am so proud of y'all. Keep doing y'all thing. Here's to many, many more.
Happy 1 year to the Straight Up podcast, man. This year was awesome. You had Callie Brooks, Shay Lift, you had some international podcasts on here. Very educational, man. The podcast is fire. Watch it.
Hey, Calvin here, host of the Straight Up Show podcast. And guess what? We're back bigger and better than ever with new guests, new straight up topics, and a new way to support the Straight Up Show podcast. That's right. You can now support our podcast by becoming a Patreon patron. Straight Up has 4 different tiers that you can choose from, with each tier having their own perks. Your monthly donation helps us produce efficient Straight Up content that you love so much. For more details, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/Straight Up Show Podcast 318. That's patreon.com/Straight Up Show Podcast 318.
Hey, it's Diallo Riddle. You might know me as the creator and star of Southside and Sherman Showcase. But right now, I want to give a big congrats to Calvin, Lee, Brandon, and Christina of the Straight Up Show podcast on y'all's 1 year anniversary of being a podcast. You guys have really tackled controversial yet informative topics, and I want to say that y'all have always kept it straight up. So best wishes on year number 2. We're listening.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Straight Up Show podcast 1 year anniversary episode. A big shout out to D.O. Riddle for being on the show and actually giving us a shout out. He actually inboxed us and said that he listened to the show, that he liked what we had. So that really impressed me that he actually did that for us. So thank you to that, man. How do you feel about that, Brandon?
I think it's awesome, dude. I always check to see who not watches. Well, actually, yeah, even watch it on YouTube, but just listen to our to the podcast. And look, you surprise me every single time. That's pretty awesome. And once again, love how we tackle these subjects who people think we shouldn't touch. But there you go. People love it.
Well, I mean, to piggyback off of what Brandon was saying, that's basically it. It's rewarding, more for you and Brandon and Lee, I'm sure, to know that all the efforts you're putting into these things, all the time you take to put your thoughts into words and bringing people on who have something to say and deserve to be heard, and to try to reach as many people as you can, it pays off. So keep doing it, y'all.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the beauty of like just doing anything creative, is you don't know the effect that it's having on people. You don't know specifically, who this is affecting. So, when you get that feedback, especially, from, higher profile folks, it's definitely something that, humbles you. So I respect all of y'all for keeping this going throughout all of the different iterations, because like this is needed. Simple as that. It's needed, to push the community forward.
Yeah, and once again, big shout out to D.O. Riddle for being there. And make sure y'all check out his show called Southside on Comedy Central. It is, I think, one of the funniest shows outside of Dave Chappelle show, because that show is funny. So if you haven't looked at him or his team, make sure you guys look at D.L. Riddle Southside on Comedy Central, season 2 on HBO Max. So make sure y'all look it out. And like I said, I wanted to reach out to a lot of people and actually just do things different and do things in a way that I wouldn't do in a professional way in my professional life. One thing that I started off in radio. And we're going to go ahead and jump into this because it's a celebration not only for our team, but everyone else. But I love music so much. And so for season 2, I wanted to do a thing called Music Monday, kind of reach out to artists that people haven't talked about. And so, starting off our top 10 all time downloaded episodes, we start off with Music Monday featuring Patrick Owen. So, Patrick is a country singer out in Louisiana, great guy. And man, he came on our show, and at one time, Patrick had the most downloaded. Actually, I think today, Patrick has the most single day downloaded episode in Straight Up Show podcast history. So shout out to Patrick. But he's not the only Music Monday artist on this episode. So we have a special guest right now to react to us right now.
Hey guys, it's Shay with Shaylif. Wanted to thank Straight Up Podcast for having us on the show. I really enjoyed how authentic the interview was and how transparent Calvin was. Made us feel right at home, and man, we definitely loved every second of it. And I love the atmosphere he's got there, and we look forward to the future of the podcast. Hope it does really well, and maybe some one-on-one video interviews in the future. Who knows, huh? That'd be awesome. Thank you all again.
Jetzt für die ganzen deutschen Zuhörer hier von Str8Up Podcast. Hallöchen erstmal, ich bin Thea aus Wien. Und ja, alles Gute zum ersten Geburtstag von Str8Up Podcast. Woo! Hi everyone, this is Thea Bell or Thea Wagner in the building. I was a guest on Str8Up Podcast like a couple weeks ago, I think, and it was honestly like my favorite thing ever. So thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun, and I really hope I'll get to be back sometime in the future. So shout out to Str8Up Podcast. Happy 1 year anniversary. Happy birthday to you.
Thank y'all so much for being those artists on our show. And if you're an artist out there that does music, make sure you want to come on our show, reach us, inbox us. We would love to have you and your music on our Music Monday segment. CJ, I want to come after you soon, because if y'all don't know, CJ can blow.
Man, I do a little something. I do it just a little bit. I sing a note here or two.
No, CJ, you're great, man. Don't lie. Come on now.
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I'm gonna keep eating this humble pie. You know.
As much as he's trying to.
As much as I try, you know. But appreciate appreciate all the love, man. Definitely great.
So what do you think about the Music Monday segments?
Man, I think it is the most brilliant idea you have had. Because they have been so much fun to listen to, especially because you never know what you're gonna get. I mean, you don't lock yourself down to one genre of music. You know, you like you said, you just discussed a country music person, and then like next week, might get a dope hip hop act, or up and coming pop star, which we've had all of these, and I can't wait to see you branch out even more and like start getting weird with it, man. It's gonna be fun.
I think doing K-pop was like different for me with Taya Bell. That was different. I didn't know what K-pop was, and then she came.
I'm disappointed.
Really?
I'm disappointed in you.
Really?
I didn't know what K-pop was. I didn't know what K-pop was.
Shame on you, Cal.
It's actually pretty big in the area. I'm surprised you didn't.
I was really bummed to not be able to hop in on that one.
Actually, yeah, Christina would have been.
I've been in the K-pop game since 2012, so I love it.
She's traveled for this.
I've traveled for it. I've gone across countries for it. So
nice.
Well, not just for it, but it's been on the journey.
Well,
I was like, dang
it. And shout out to Taya Bell all the way in Austria. And she's a K-pop songwriter. Award-winning artist, songwriter. So, and the K-pop music that she gave on our show was phenomenal. She's a great talent. So she is a list of other talents on our episode, Music Monday episodes. That was our top 10, our number 10 spot with Patrick Owens, Music Monday. Going to number 9, this is where CJ comes into the picture, because we had at number 9 our superhero SmackDown with CJ, Desmond, and Brandon. It was a tournament episode that we have a bunch of tournaments on our episodes, but this one was about superheroes, because you know what? It's okay to be a blurred or a nerd or whatever you want to call yourself. But man, CJ, how intense was that superhero SmackDown?
Oh boy. Like, oh man, I'm getting the goosebumps all over again. Because like at first, yeah, Brandon, you know exactly what we're talking about. Like at first, it started off just a great conversation with friends, right? Okay, nice, calm, we're getting through it. Okay. And then Lee, you just had to pull that. Oh man.
Lee
What?
always
brought the
Dude,
heat.
ruined
No.
things. Just make things
Did you
complicated.
have to do it, Lee? Did Batman deserve that, man?
He
That's all.
absolutely did. I have no regrets.
And for those who don't know, what happened in the tournament is that I think it was maybe the second round we had, I think maybe a list of 32 Marvel versus DC superheroes. I think 32 on each side. And Lee decided we had different rules about, swiping somebody out. And Lee decided to kick Batman to the dirt second round over Robin. And let's just say that things went downhill from there. So and we try to be fair. It's just straight up. We have rules in place how the tournament went, and Batman lost. But overall, the winner was who was the winner? I forgot.
That's sad, man. That's sad.
It was
Are you talking just the DC side or overall who won?
I think it was Spider-Man overall, right? Was it
Spidey
It was
overall?
Spidey, yeah.
Superman
yes.
won on DC
Yeah.
side.
Okay,
Which is
yeah.
total bull. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, don't be mad because you didn't play your cards right, man.
You know what? Dang it, Brandon. Now
I
you
just heard that Batman lost, and that's all I care about.
Yep.
So,
and
yeah.
Lee,
Oh,
I Jason Todded him.
yeah, you Jason. And what
Golly.
was the Jason Todd quote, Lee?
Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
Christina,
Yeah.
let me just set the tone.
Yeah.
Let me just set the tone. Dude,
Uh-huh.
when Lee pulled that move, when I say it was dead silence for like a good 20 seconds, but it felt like 20 minutes. Like we all didn't know what to do at that point. It's like, cause we could have used our cards, we could have used, our lifelines, but it's like, we had our characters we was trying to hold on to. So it was like, but we also felt Batman should have stayed. So we was so conflicted. Oh, it was the worst.
yeah, and if
Bye
you're
bye to the Batman.
and if you're a superhero buff, this would probably made you really mad.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
and we had
Yeah.
a lot of hate
Yeah.
mail come our way, and a lot of people. We're gonna say this a lot on this show. A lot of people won't like our show and what we have, our content. But Lee, there is an email that people can go to if you don't like our show. You have questions, comments, or concerns. Lee, can you please provide our listeners with that hate mail email address, please?
Oh yeah. Let me pull that up real quick. Hang on. That's right. Okay. Yeah, it's I don't care at gmail.com.
I don't care at gmail.com. Of course, we're just kidding. But that was one of the most intense episodes. It is a heavily downloaded episode, part one, not part two, which is crazy. But moving along, and we have a more serious, but more, it's not really serious, but more of a celebration episode. Coming in at number 8 is our Prideful Celebrations episode, which was celebrating those of the LGBT community, which I think is one of my favorite episodes because if you don't know, our co-host Lee, he is a gay man. He's married to a man, and we had different guests on to talk about their gay pride and what they feel are their pride and celebrate it. And for me, I think Lee is that kind of give a backstory. When I worked with Lee for the first time in college, we did the news program together. And I think that one day Lee was just doing his business and we talked and we were around the table. Hey guys, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, Lee was like, hey, I'm getting married. I can't wait to marry my husband. And I was like, and I think the question was like, oh, I think Brandon was like, who's a lucky girl? And he's like, oh, he's not going to be my husband. And so we were like, whoa, wait, what? And it was at that moment that him being gay didn't affect me like it would have, because I'm a church boy, and I said a prayer before even the show started. But I had these homophobic views before, but I worked with this great guy, and him telling me he's gay didn't really affect me. And so that's why we had this episode. And Lee, you can take the helm on this. Like, what was this episode about, and kind of give us a synopsis why this episode was so great.
Well, I mean, the whole last year in particular was just not super fun. So just the idea of having an episode to celebrate literally anything, I think was already a good idea. And being out and proud where I am now, it hasn't been that long since I've been in the closet. I mean, it's been maybe 15-ish years. So I mean, I've literally watched our world adapt to who I am as a person. And it's something I see continue to happen, even as I still figure out things about myself. Like, I mean, I'm almost 40 years old. It's like, oh yeah, I still don't exactly know how I identify or what have you, and that's okay. And that's like the fun part of life that we do need to celebrate more. And that's what I loved about that episode, was just celebrating that, you know, life is complicated and we should embrace it because life is also short.
Yeah, we
Right.
had Jason was also a great guest for that
Jason was
uh
fantastic.
great show for that episode.
Beautiful little man.
Beautiful little man. And Jason is going to be a phenomenal actor. He is a great actor, and he's very comedic. Because I mean, this is stuff he said on the episode, and he taught me a lot. Because I didn't know that. I think it's quote Lee or Christina. It was that racism trumps. What was it? I forgot what the quote was. That racism trumps. I forgot what it was. But anyway, he was saying that there was racism in the gay community, which I didn't know. So, because like battling like being a heavyset black guy myself, I just didn't know that that kind of stuff existed in a community that has the world not really hating them, but not agreeing with their beliefs. And I'm like, wow, that really I didn't know that. So it was a very educational episode. I think that that's probably why it's one of our number 8 most downloaded episode of all time. Moving along, this is episode 7 and 6 most downloaded episodes of all time. Was our Black Barbershop Black Men Speak Out. This was about uh, educated black men who I think in America, and this is my opinion, but there's a belief that I think that nobody has it as bad as the American black man, because we get it from so many different levels, and sometimes we're depicted in a bad light by the media from different people. And this was an episode to where I got a preacher, a black preacher, a black actor, a black cop, and me and Brandon, guys that work in media. And it was just a powerful episode to where we just had an opportunity to let it all out and vent and talk about our frustrations that we had, especially with seeing the death of George Floyd. And Brandon, I mean, you were on the episode. Like, what was the episode about, and how did you feel about the episode?
It was actually I'm still battling this. That was actually probably my favorite episode because once again, this is where Straight Up really shines. We're actually able to talk about things that we in our it's just in our own, I would say, culture, not a cultural group, don't get a chance to just sit here and talk about like we want to. And we tackled so much in these 2 episodes. I mean, it had to be 2 episodes. And it also opened my eyes because we did actually get some comments about this show. And it makes you really wonder who is actually listening to the whole episode before they just make got this dog in the background who is actually listening to the whole episode before they make a comment. I mean, we tackle some amazing stuff, and if you haven't listened to the episode yet, pretty much any of the top 10 we're about to talk about, you definitely need to listen to that so you can understand us and see us in a better way, because we are definitely expressing ourselves in this one.
So, of that episode, then, what would you say was your, I guess, favorite point that was made? Like, what was the standout message of that episode for you?
I think for me, and is this for me or Brandon?
Either of you, whomever.
I think for me is that don't judge a book by its cover. That we hurt as well, and but just because that the media or whoever paints a bad picture of us, that we're strong, we're fearless, and we have something to give to this world. I think that was my thing, and also just like I think also what stood out for me the most, and Brandon, you can tag on to this, but was that if we got reparations, educate us before you give us reparations. Like, financially educate us, and if you really want to help us out, go into our communities and educate us. So because like I know my parents, they weren't financially educated. And so I think that was one thing that we discussed about how we had generational of poverty that us as I guess the millennials, we're finally learning how it is to be financially educated. And that's what I took out of it.
Exactly. I want to ask you about this because I think we should have a T-shirt that says historical trauma, because that's one thing that we definitely suffer from, especially us as Black men. My One of my favorite points of that episode was, because it was very much part of the conversation, was police. People saying defund the police and everything. So that part, and us actually talking about, like, we had an actual policeman on the show. My dad's a policeman, so we had so many directions and just lenses to look through about this conversation that some people just automatically think will think one way. We just have so many voices, individual voices in that conversation, and I definitely think people should listen to
Yeah, and
Great.
I got accused of being a Black Republican. So
it.
They they cooned you.
And see, that's the
It
thing.
happens.
That's the thing. I said some things that some people would think, oh, might be a Republican, but it says no. It's just we don't all agree on one thing. And
Mhm.
that's another reason why I'm like, you didn't listen to the whole episode because you might think we'll say one thing. No.
And see, and that's what I found powerful about this episode. I agree with you, Brandon, that this is easily my favorite episode. Because I remember where I was when I was listening to this, right? So I was in the middle of work running one of my routes, and I was in a Walmart parking lot. Okay. And this was when it got to the point about defund the police. And I remember I forgot the gentleman's name that was like heavy about defund the police. He was the one that really he thought a different way about religion, right? That being weaponized basically, and how him and Pastor CJ was kind of
Oh, yeah.
going back and forth. And
Mhm.
that's what was beautiful about this episode is Black men are not a monolith. We're all not the same. We all
Thank
have
you.
different perspectives, on all aspects of life. And this
Mhm.
episode showed that beautifully. So that just goes back to the problem itself is like we're being prejudged in this one lens based off of what? Like take the time, get to know us, have a conversation, man. Like
Yeah.
you'd be surprised.
Join the conversation.
Join the conversation, right? But yeah, man. So it's something as simple as listen to this episode, and you have multiple Black men with multiple perspectives. That by itself is enough to let you know, like, hey, maybe I should look at this thing from a different perspective, or maybe I should at least hear these folks out. Something. That's all we asking.
Something. Re-
Damn.
I think Christina with this episode as well is that there was something that needs to happen not only in the Black community but in this country, is that there needs to be a lot of healing, and as CJ alluded to, is that our guest Dorsey, he had his own kind of radical views, I guess.
It
Uh,
would be Dorsey.
yeah, but no, and not to disrespect Dorsey. Like Dorsey is a
I love Dorsey.
educated guy, and he came with the fire, and like,
yes.
but it was a way to me. It's kind of like you can just, in a way, feel the hurt. There was some hurt there. It felt like, and like
Mhm.
I think CJ and Dotha were able to actually just like kind of virtually put a shoulder around him and hug him and say, hey, let's talk about this, let's vent. Because what y'all don't know is that, and Brandon can tell you, like this episode was a two-parter, but it probably lasted about 5 hours because I think Brandon went to go do something and
I
came
went to
back.
work. Y'all
Yeah.
was still talking.
Still talking because it was a talk that we needed to have, and that's what needs to have in our Black community. And like I said, not just in our own communities, but around the world. Like this is us. Accept us for who we are. Like the prideful celebration, this is us. Accept us for who we are. And so that was our number 6 and number 7 episodes. And I have a guest who wants to say something about this episode in particular.
Hey, it's Pastor CJ from KOKA. Want to take an opportunity to wish a happy anniversary to the Straight Up podcast. Calvin, my classmate, Lee and Brandon, I'm telling you, you all are doing a magnificent job. Had an opportunity to share on your show. It was an amazing show. And again, keep doing the work that you're doing in the community. And again, congratulations on your anniversary.
Yo, brother, Calvin, what's going on, man? This is stuntman, actor, production owner, Dotha Sykes. I want to send my congratulations to the 1 year. 1 year already, man. You've been killing it. And I'm so proud of you. It was an honor to be a part of the show, to chat, and honor to also learn and listen, man, and witnessing from where you start to where you are now, man. It's amazing of what you're doing and what you're accomplishing, bro. And plenty more to come. Plenty more to come. So, you know, if there's anything you need, want to chat some more, get my opinions, you know, I'm down for it. So congratulations, 1 year anniversary. Straight up.
And thank y'all. Thank you, CJ and Dotha. Those were two of our guests that we had on our episode that brought the fire. I've known Dotha and CJ with the high school, both of them, but those are black men, Dorsey, all those people. Those are black men who, Elmo as well, who I definitely respect. And I had to have them on the show because they're my age and they're making a difference in this world. CJ, a pastor, Dotha, actor, producer. So these guys, you know, that's a small example of how powerful black men can be, not only in America, but in the world as well. And we're going to have more on the other side of the break of our top 5 out of 10 episodes. Just stay tuned because this is our 1 year anniversary episode here on the Str8Up Show podcast. 1 year anniversary. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, Dr. McSharma, award-winning physician, activist, writer, filmmaker, and COVID frontliner antagonist, coming to you live from her very messy car, to which the Str8Up Show podcast, a very happy birthday / 1 year anniversary. Let me count all the reasons that I love the Str8Up Show podcast. Number 1, Mr. Worldwide, downloaded in over 30 countries and over 1,000 downloads in 3 countries outside the U.S. Who does that? Who does that in just like their first year of being a thing? I'll tell you who. Straight Up. 2, the name of your podcast reminds me of a Paula Abdul song that's like, straight up now tell me, is it gonna be you and me together? And now I've done that, so that's out there. Number 3, I so enjoyed talking to Calvin and being on the podcast to talk about health and maintaining your emotional and physical well-being during a pandemic. I enjoyed it so much that I got to do it twice, be on the podcast twice, and I'm extremely honored to have been a guest that's invited back. So thank you guys so much. And what else? Number 4, am I up to number 4 yet? You guys really are straight up. So the people that you're talking to, the demographics that you're reaching, you're talking about important issues, but in a fun and jovial way that will actually reach people's ears, which is so important because there's nothing but contentious fake news out there, and we need ways to reach people. Straight up. So, in conclusion, this has been a very long video. Thank you and happy anniversary, Str8Up Show podcast. Check me out at jayamcsharma.com. That's JAYAMCSHARMA.com. And don't forget to get vaxxed, stay masked, and put COVID in the trash. I'm still working on that last line. Bye! Happy anniversary!
Hey, Str8Up! Happy anniversary! Hey, thank you for keeping me company while I'm on the road. And keep making great content, man. Appreciate everything. Thank you. Peace.
Tired of the same old boring clothes? Want to support your favorite podcast but don't know how? Well, you're in luck. The Str8Up Show podcast store is finally here. In our Teespring shop, you can find all the merch that tells the world you're keeping it straight up. From t-shirts to masks to even leggings, our store has you covered. Just visit straightupshowpodcast.com and click that merchandise button. That's STR the number 8 upshowpodcast.com.
Shout out and big congrats to Calvin, Lee, Brandon, and Christina of the Straight Up Show podcast. 1 year. Congratulations, guys. They say usually when you make it a year or two, everything else is downhill. So good luck in the upcoming year, and I wish you all the best. See y'all down the road.
Back to the Straight Up Show podcast, 1 year anniversary. Of course, that was Hall of Famer, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. Wow. Thank you so much for giving us a shout out, sir. CJ, it's one of your favorite ones, right?
Oh, dude, hands down, man. Hands down. Oh, dude, look, and I noticed he gave that sensual chocolate smile at the end. He thought he was clever. He still got it, man. He still got it. Christina, I don't know. I think that was for you. I don't know if you married or not. Stay in your lane, man.
I was like, hold on.
And I actually saw him maybe 3 weeks ago, and it was, or actually it was 2 weeks ago, and I saw him. He was actually in our hometown. And I was like, "Is that Mark Henry?" And I was like, "Okay, oh wow." But no, big thanks to Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer. Not only in the Hall of Fame in WWE, but in the weightlifting Hall of Fame, the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame. This guy is phenomenal. So thank you for taking time out to wish us a happy anniversary / birthday. So with that being said, if you're now joining us, we are tuning in, naming our top 10 episodes. Right now, we're at number 5. We said that number 10 was our Music Monday with Patrick Owens. Number 9, Superhero Smackdown with CJ and Desmond, Prideful Celebrations. Number 8, in the Barbershop episode with CJ, Dother, Dielmo, and Dorsey. So now we're at halfway there. We're at number 5, which is, I think, Brandon's produced episode in one of our most downloaded episodes, number 5. Is the COVID impact, part of our COVID impact series, Asian discrimination. And this was an episode that we did that, we had some conflict actually. Because at the time, me being ignorant and being stubborn as usual, I didn't think that it was a good episode to do because it didn't involve our race. And as you hear me right now, one thing about this podcast is that I'm able to grow, and I think this is one of these episodes that where I went in very ignorant, and I was able to grow, and that was a powerful episode, and that was a year ago, and Brandon brought it to my attention that we should talk about this because it was something that was happening, and upon my research, and of course, if you don't know that, me and Brandon argue a lot, and it's because we're like brothers. We've known each other for almost 10 years now. And
Yeah.
there's always one person that breaks us up or makes us come together. Well, two people actually, either Christina or Lee. And it was during this time, Lee was like, "Hey, calm down. Hey, you should maybe look at this, and kind of, put a band-aid on it and actually kind of calm me down and made me look at it okay. And then me and Brandon just tackled it, and we did this. And Brandon, just tell us about this episode and why you want to do this Asian discrimination episode.
I remember this was around the time when COVID really was starting to hit. And around that time, I really wanted us to talk about something that allowed us to really, for me, bring that quality part of Straight Up. And that's to talk about something serious and give somebody that space. And I was hearing a lot about how, in a way, not just you, but a lot of people felt like, well, Black people has been getting uh beat and treated terribly, and have had hate crime happen to all the time, why should we, talk about and feel some type of way about this? And I'm like, well, that's another reason why we should definitely step up because we understand and
Right.
we don't need that to happen.
And my argument to you was that, like, okay, that was my argument. Was like, well, so what? Welcome to the club. Where's your
Right.
pity party?
Yeah, and it was at that moment I was like, well, I think that's exactly why we need to talk about this. And for me, once again, I feel like Straight Up really needed to let people know, hey, we're not afraid to talk about subjects like this. And I think what I really liked how this is where we also found um, Dr. Thomas. And she really, when you brought her in, she really added so much to the show because I was prepared to talk about the mental state of what people was going through to cause them to do these things to Asian Americans. But bringing her in once again brought that education and just made the conversation even more just important. Really brought that quality into it.
And a common theme that we have on this during, I think during our first maybe 6 episodes, I think, like a common theme that we kept doing was that every show we recorded, it foreshadowed like something in the world would happen a week later that made our episode relevant because we're like
It still happens.
it still happens.
Yeah.
And we did this Asian episode over a year ago, and of course right now and unfortunately there's been some stupid and ignorant attacks on not only Asian but Pacific Islanders as well over just hate crimes, and it was fueled by a leader who was using like slang words like kung flu and stuff like that. That it was not only affecting the Chinese, but it was affecting every Asian because some people ignorantly think that because you look Asian or you look Chinese that or whatever that every Asian is Chinese and they're not. And that's what we talked about with Dr. Thompson and Emma. And so we actually have Dr. Thompson and Emma on the line right now. Dr. Thompson.
Hi, guys. This is Dr. Monique Thompson in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm a local psychotherapist. I've been in practice for 20 years, and one of the most remarkable experiences I can recall having was being invited to be on the Straight Up podcast. I'd never heard of it before. The guys reached out. I had a delightful time. It was so engaging, and what was amazing was their approach to an emerging issue from a very straight up approach. They wanted to hear the facts. They wanted to hear what I thought, and they were addressing an issue that was just coming about. It was about how Asians were being treated in America and what to do about it. And I really appreciate that they were, forerunners in bringing that to the attention of the nation. I since then have asked for advice on things because these guys are go-getters and are just making their mark on the world. And I just appreciate that they have chosen to make a positive impact, but not from a favorable position. So congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. I'm glad to have been a part of your founding years, and I'm excited about what you're going to be doing next. Thanks so much for allowing me to give a gentle review and some encouragement. And please feel free. I'd love to be back on the show again, and I love everything that you guys are doing. Straight up. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, this is Emma. I'd like to wish a happy 1 year anniversary to the Straight Up podcast. It was a pleasure to be on it pretty much a year ago, and like to thank the podcast creators for being very kind and empathetic. And it was a wonderful experience to get a lot of thoughts off my chest and just to spread the word about what's going on. And it's great to be able to talk about issues like racism that affects different groups differently, but of course it's good to acknowledge that it's all happening, and I really appreciate the medium to be able to talk about it in a safe situation. So thank you so much, and hope your podcast continues to grow.
All right. So once again, big thanks to Emma and Dr. Monique Thompson for coming on our episode and doing the episode. That was one of those episodes that kind of hits you right there, Brandon.
Yeah, like I said, I really, I was very happy we was able to get that out, and like you said, it was. I mean, I thought about it even from the recent activity that's been happening in the country. So it just that episode is there to it's I think it's a great tool for people that are seeing what's happening right now and reflect in a way that kind of help them understand and kind of move us forward. And that's what I wanted.
And just to kind of give a PSA, like we here at Straight Up, we support all communities, but definitely the Asian community during this time that they are being attacked. Asian and community, Asian, because there's a hashtag stop AAPI hate, and it's not just Asian Americans; it's kind of global. I think upon my research, there were people in Australia, and Emma had she's Canadian Asian, and so I think that it's time that we stop being ignorant, and stop blaming the Asians for coronavirus. And it's a global thing. It's not just them. And so I mean, if you want to be honest, sometimes you guys, those who are not following the mandates, you got to blame yourself too. So
That's true.
so stop attacking the Asian community because they are a valid part of our community, especially in this, not only in America but globally as well. So moving on to a more softer but and that was our number 5 episode, by the way, Asian COVID impact, Asian discrimination. Number 4 episode. This was Lee's episode that he produced or kind of came up with, and Christina and TJ, y'all will love this because this episode was called Cartoon Therapy, and this episode was about just being an adult but still going back to watching cartoons. And Lee, tell us about this episode.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed the pitch there instantly. But I mean, I'm a 30-something-year-old person approaching 40, and I still watch cartoons. And I don't mean, Family Guy or whatever is on Adult Swim. I mean, the stuff that's on at like 3 in the afternoon on Cartoon Network that is meant for your 5-year-old. I'm just sitting there watching it and vibing on it just like they would. And the reason for that is this world is a really cruel and scary place. And sometimes I need to like just relax and turn my brain off for a while. And cartoons are a perfect way to do that. If you go back and listen to that episode, we each give an example of a show that we got really into that was meant for kids, but as an adult, you can find themes in it. And there are shows now that I'm watching that I still find stuff that kind of hits me different as an adult than it probably would have gone over my head as a kid. And I'm so happy that's something I can still find joy in as an adult.
Yeah, I agree with Lee on that. There's a certain amount of I'm gonna use the word therapy that comes with going back into watching things like cartoons. Like I just hit 30 and on my birthday I binge watched like 4 hours straight of Rugrats. And that's all I really wanted to do. I watched Rugrats and Looney Tunes for hours that day. Um, and it was it was very relaxing for me. Like to just know that I'm like, you know what, this is just so easy. This is so calming. I didn't have to worry about anything because I've spoken to a couple of y'all over the last couple months every now and then. I have had a really rough last like 6 to 8 months. Mentally, I hit a brick wall, like going 100 miles an hour, and so I have had to relearn how to relax and let things go. My anxiety was spiked. So it was one of the first times. My birthday was literally like a week ago. It was the 27th of March. And it was one of the first times that I was just like, my mind just stopped for a little while. So sit down and watch a cartoon every now and then, y'all. Enjoy some horrible jokes they make. You'd be like, that was really sexual for this cartoon. Like those are the little gems. But other than that, just treat yourself to a little cartoon every now and then, one Saturday morning style with a bowl of cereal. It will help you.
All right, so there's a lot of things happening. Okay, so first is nostalgia. Okay, just the ability to be transported back to you sitting in the living room Indian style in front of your TV with your favorite cereal or whatnot, right? Like That was just amazing. But also, um, I don't know, man. It's something about 90s Saturday morning cartoons. Your Nickelodeon cartoons and your early Cartoon Network, like the original Powerpuff Girls, dude, like the Nicktoons. Dude, Rocco's Modern Life, that was my jam. That was my jam, man. But it was just something about those particular cartoons, like they just had a feel good vibe to them, therapeutic is the perfect adjective to describe them, because there's no way you could be in a bad mood and watch one of those episodes and it not, at least give you a crooked smile, you know, at least. So yeah, man, Saturday morning cartoons definitely, that yeah, that's something that's always going to be in the memory banks.
And yeah, once again, shout out to Lee for coming up with that crazy concept. And it's our number 4, the most downloaded episode. And Lee, once again, always a phenomenal job with Lee. Besides the superhero SmackDown episode,
Regret nothing.
Yeah, you know what? That shows how podcasts amaze me. How that one is number 4. Because I remember after the whole reason we did that is because Lee was like, there's so much things going on that made me depressed. I just been watching cartoons, so that's why we did it. And I just remember us after getting done recording that, it's like, how many cartoons did we actually talk about? But it's touched so many people and so many people love it. That's the most fascinating part for me.
yep, and you'd be surprised. And we're gonna go ahead and jump to number 3. This is also a new Music Monday artist. She is recently hitting the charts. Not only is she a music artist, she's also an actress and a cartoon voiceover actress on Cartoon Network. Ha! See how things work out? Our coming in number 3 is our Music Monday featuring the one and only Callie Brooks. She is Compton, California star, all the way in California. And if y'all haven't heard CJ or Christina, she has a unique voice. It's like a baby voice, kind of like Tommy Pickles type, but that's her real voice. And
She's got that EG Daily.
I guess, yeah, the EG Daily. And I actually met her in a voiceover room. And so it was just weird. And we bonded, and just her music is great. And she kind of gave me an opinion about music, is that it's not just all about a certain genre, because you can't put her music in a bubble. And like she was telling me, like she just wants to do everything. And so she's a great artist. I love her so much. We talk all the time. And make sure you go check her show out. It's going to be on Cartoon Network Adult Swim, called Teenage Euthanasia. It's coming out pretty soon. We'll definitely keep it posted. And she has some new music coming out on the other side. So once again, make sure you guys go check out Callie Brooks. She's a phenomenal artist. And check her out, because she got a lot of stuff coming out. I love her music, and got much love for Callie Brooks on the Music Monday Straight Up Show podcast. Now, jumping to number 2. This was our first international episode. You know that we go out the country a lot, and we also like to use our what? Use our what, SpongeBob?
Imagination.
Right, our imagination. Brandon, don't make that face. Every time I bring SpongeBob on the show, you make that face about SpongeBob. But no, we like to use our imagination and go actually venture out to other countries and learn more about other countries. And our first episode that we did was about global unification, because what caught my eye on this episode was that when George Floyd died, which was a murder, um, it was weird to see so many people be affected by this, not only in America but globally. And it's kind of one of those things. Like we're very curious here, straight up, and to see people protesting, like you don't know what we go through out here in America, like you don't know. And so, of course, me being curious, I reached out to people, and it just so happened that my former foreign exchange student, Julia, she's from Ukraine, and she was able to come on the show and tell us how she felt about it, and also our friend Lena in France. And one thing what they both said was that there's a big misconception of not only about African Americans but America in general. They were thinking that America, when Julia came to America as a foreign exchange student, she was our foreign exchange student. She came to my sister, who's a single black mother to two kids, and it was something that she wasn't expecting, because she thought that the husband always lived with the wife, and so but to see my sister carry herself the way she did, it was one of those stereotypes that was put to rest quickly. And I was glad that she was able to tell her story, because she came back to America after high school and did I think a semester in NYC when COVID first started, and she was one of those people who actually spoke out about what happened to George Floyd. And so just to see her grow from being this one time in America, it made me feel great to see this, and to see that her episode is our number 2 most downloaded episode. And with Lena was telling us about how there's a lot of misconceptions about France that people don't know about, and just to see that France is very eco-friendly. They love clean air, and it's something that, of course, we out here, we gotta grill them and drill them, baby. Like people like to drill out here, and there's something that's not really practiced in Europe, and it's more clean over there. It's eco friendly over there. So I think that was one of my favorite episodes. And CJ, you actually met Julia, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was the first thing that came to mind when I heard that episode, is that her English is so fluid now. Like you could hear, you could understand her back then. Lord, that was how many years ago? That was a lot. But but now, I mean, it's fluid English. Like you could tell it was still her, but it was almost like a different person. I was like, wow. Oh, she's grown up so much.
She has, man, and now she's an adult doing big things. And but actually, we have Lena, and actually to go back before I even bring Lena on, we've actually ventured out to other countries as well. One being Africa, and went to our Coming to Africa episode. And so we have our international friends with us right now. We have Lena and Udansi. Udansi, Lena.
I'm Lena, I come from France and I am wishing a happy birthday to the emission. Bonjour tout le monde, je vous souhaite un très joyeux anniversaire, profitez bien. And I like to be a part of this emission. It was really interesting and awesome, to be honest. I really enjoyed it, and Calvin was really kind and really friendly. That was awesome, guys. I wish you the best. Je vous souhaite le meilleur. Bisous.
Hi, it's Udonsi here, and I am from Nigeria. First of all, congratulations to the crew members of the Str8Up podcast show for putting up a great show for a 1 year. This is a great milestone for them, and I know that they will also have greater opportunities to celebrate other milestones. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to also talk about how I love this show. And I so much appreciate the show because it gives so many people opportunities to share their light, their talent, and also their vibes to the world. One of the interesting episodes I love is Coming to Africa. I'm not just saying this because I'm from Africa, but because of the message it carries. Because the Str8Up show was able to visit the continent and talk to the actual people who are in that continent. And it portrays how we live, and it also, takes away those negative perspectives that they teach about Africa. And also, one thing also I love there is that it also touched about our relationship with our brothers in the diaspora, I mean the African Americans, and also how they can also relate to the motherland. Congrats to the people in the Str8Up show and also to the listeners. If you have not yet watched that show, Coming to Africa, go and check out the episode, and I promise you, you will love it. Congratulations to Calvin Hamilton for bringing this show to the world. I love you, bro.
So once again, Udansi and Lena, thank you so much for coming on the show. Which is a fun fact, Lena told me, because we talked on a regular. She was telling me that I was her first American phone conversation. And so in English, and so that's a big honor for me, and it was a big deal for her that we had her on our show. So Lena, thank you so much, and we're gonna send you something out there in the mail to not only to Lena but Udansi and Patty Bridge too. Shout out to Patty Bridge all the way in Nigeria, Africa. So ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the number 1 episode, the most downloaded episode of Straight Up Show podcast history. Does anybody want to take a guess what it may be, Brandon?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
CJ?
Was it? I'm gonna say it's a Music Monday for sure.
CJ?
I'm a guess it was. Is it Undivorceable? Is that the name of that show? The dating channel.
All right, let's crack. Lee, you want to take a crack at it?
Was it our pilot? I bet it was our pilot.
Christina, what about you?
Well, I actually agree with CJ. That was my guess.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody's hearing right now, the number one most downloaded episode of the Straight Up Show podcast, as of right now, is, drumroll please, it's the Straight Up reunion episode, our season 1 finale. That is our number one at most downloaded episode. Brandon, don't make that face because I have no idea how it is either. But that is
Y'all got it wrong.
Y'all got it wrong. And before we even talk about our reunion episode, we have to give a quick shout out to Kitty and PJ. Kitty, they were a part of our one of our episodes, Undivorceable, which is one of my favorite episodes. But Kitty just lost her father, so we want to give our prayers and positivity, energy to Kitty and PJ as they're going through this trying time. And Kitty has been going through a lot this year, so. They're getting married now, but just make sure y'all keep Kitty and PJ in our thoughts and prayers. We love you here Straight Up, and we can't wait to have y'all back on the show. But definitely sending prayers and positive energy to y'all. Okay. So with that being said, it is our reunion episode. That is our most downloaded episode of all time. I have no idea how, but that episode it's downloaded a lot. And what that episode consists of is kind of bring this all back to a full circle. Is how our show started. We started off as a TV show. Of course, me and Brandon and Lee came up and Courtney came up with the concept, but it took a lot of people to bring it all together. And so the reunion episode was just bringing back all those from our college who worked on the episode. One of our favorite teachers, Ms. Paula Kazuba, Shelby, Natalie, Devin, Finch. Caitlin, Jill, Craig, a lot of people that helped us out. I'm pretty sure I'm missing some people, but it was full of surprises, and I really loved the episode. Brandon, how did you feel about that episode?
That was a great. It was, the reason why I was shocked because that was just such a laid back conversation. It was just us. It was just our reunion. I mean, I learned something that I really didn't know about how our first dean passed away. I didn't really know that. So that was me first learning that. And I haven't spoken to Kazuba in so long. So I'm just genuinely shocked that made it to number one.
And for those who don't know Miss Kazuba, she was one of our professors in our college who really kind of gave us the Straight Up moniker, I think, because like they were professors that kept it real with us and they didn't sugarcoat with us. And so that made college much more fun. They kept it real with us, and Miss Byers too. So we had her on the episode. Lee, what do you think about that episode?
I mean, I'm kind of there with Brandon. Like it's so self-satisfying that just the episode concept that I'm like, wow, how did so many other people want to hear this? And yeah, I mean, it was super fun to do. I'm so glad we did it because I mean, honestly, that episode is kind of a love letter to Straight Up. Because it brings back so many people from that TV show, and just knowing how far we've come with this thing we've built, just knowing that it started from this little almost not even public access TV show, and now you've got like an empire going, dude. It's pretty awesome, and I love having that episode as like a little time capsule into our beginnings. And hey, maybe that's why people dug it so much.
Yep, and it's our number one most downloaded episode, and I'm still shocked, But hey, people like what they like, and as long as you like us, and so with that being said, those are the top 10 most downloaded episodes Of course, there are some episodes still going strong right now because we are in the middle of a season where actually, you know what? This is the end of the season. And we're going to talk about where we're going next. Stay tuned because this is the 1 year anniversary episode of the Straight Up Show podcast.
Happy first birthday, Straight Up Show podcast. I had so much fun being interviewed, and I love hearing your guys' podcast, whether it's other really small artists that you're trying to give a platform and trying to give a voice and just chat with us, or whether it is, people telling their love stories or, medical professionals. It's really cool that you have a little bit of everything, and your interviews are honest, they're chill, they're natural, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have in the future. So enjoy your birthday and to many more years.
Happy anniversary birthday to the Straight Up crew. I appreciate the show. I listen to you all the time when I do my traveling. I've just gotten so much information and just so much entertainment from you guys for this last year. I wish that you guys just keep it going. I can't wait to see what you guys bring with the next seasons. Keep up the good work. I remember back when you were first kicking off the episodes and bringing it back from when it was a video blog to making it the podcast. And I believe you just have so much talent and so much potential, and there's so much more you guys are going to do. This thing is going to go big international. This thing's going to go big in the country. Just keep it going.
Hey Calvin, it's Blake from Trouble Franklin with Trouble Boxing Gym out of the compound in Shreveport, Louisiana. Listen guys, I just want to congratulate you and the Straight Up Podcast on 1 year of an amazing run. Y'all are doing a great job. Number one across the world. I can't tell you how proud I am, how thrilled and honored I was to be on there for just a little bit. Anything I can ever do, or maybe come back on there another time, talking a little bit of fight game, a little politics, whatever it may be, I'm always there for you. Once again, congratulations guys.
What's up, Straight Up Podcast? I just want to congratulate y'all on y'all 1 year anniversary. Want to let y'all know that I enjoy listening to y'all podcasts. I love watching y'all TikToks. I love my Straight Up Vote shirt. Keep going down the path that y'all on. I'm very happy to be able to be a part of y'all podcast. So the sky's the limit, and keep on going up.
I think straight up means to be able to speak in a way that is straight up, to be honest, and to speak your truth.
Raw, uncut, you know what I mean? It's blunt, straight to the point. This is what it is.
It's just a place to be open and honest, and that's what I appreciate most about it. And it provides a place for community members to come together and just be straight up with each other about things that are going on in the world, because it affects all of us.
Unfiltered, raw, with all the cursing that Calvin does.
Straight up is just being real, telling it like it is, being you.
Being solid, being who you are, no matter what it is, no matter what situation you're faced with, right? This is who you are. It really speaks to me, saying it is what it is and it ain't what it ain't. Straight up.
Yo, it's your boy Josh Prey, and I don't often do this, but I wanted to make amends, and I wanted to make sure, and I wanted to make positive that I got it out there. I want to say big congrats to Calvin, Lee, Brandon, and Christina of the Straight Up with an 8 show podcast on y'all 1 year anniversary. A lot of people don't even make it half a year, and y'all made it already 1 year, and I know you guys have tackled some really controversial yet informative topics, and y'all doing it in a way that nobody else can do it. Not only do you inform, you don't change, and you don't stray or run from certain topics. Keep rocking, keep doing your thing on the Straight Up with an 8 podcast, and I can't wait to see what y'all gonna do in year 2. Straight up.
All right, big thanks to Josh Prey, man. Like I'm pretty sure everybody and their mama know who Josh Prey is. If you don't know who Josh Prey is, live under a rock. Brandon, you know who
Energy personified.
Energy personified, man. Josh Prey, man, like he is.
That was literally all I had to say. I was like, that energy.
Gave us a shout out. So thank you, Josh Prey, for giving us a shout out, man. He is definitely a great guy, and he is one of the funniest people I've ever seen before. So
imagine if he was a drill sergeant.
Oh my God! Right, I would love it. I would love it. I'm like, I want to go to third platoon right now.
Nah, I'm like, yeah. He's like, come on, do it. And he does movie reviews and everything like that. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fun ride. We're coming to a close. Uh, you know, thank y'all. All I can say is thank y'all. It's been great. Before we kind of get all emotional and sad and stuff, right quick, I want to go around the room right quick and just kind of be brief, if you don't mind. Of course, we'll start with the lovely and beautiful Lee. No, I'm just kidding. We'll start with the lovely and beautiful Christina. Uh, just I want to hear y'all one. What's your favorite episode and what do you like most about Straight Up, Christina?
I genuinely don't have a favorite episode. Um, I have moments within the episodes that I've been involved with and have listened in on. And those moments are almost always where you can tell there's been a shift and people start speaking from their life, like their heart, instead of just what they think so much. So any time where you guys have gotten serious and you can feel something different happen, those are the moments I kind of live for within Straight Up, which I think there's a large amount of people who tune in for those very moments, because you can find a podcast where people talk about tougher topics and everything going on, but you tune in to hear a different perspective and to find some type of relatability sometimes. And any of those moments that you guys have from whatever the topics are, from Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, to fuck off Batman, any of those things where you become more passionate and real, I adore those moments. So that's all.
Had to take a moment to gather my thoughts here. Okay, so what's amazing about this show, and I applaud the fact that y'all kept it going no matter what iteration it was. Y'all felt it was this important that y'all had to keep it going, is because y'all tackle so many topics that it's very hard for anybody to listen to at least a season of this show and not have one episode that touches them, one that actually resonates with them. That's what's so amazing about this show. Y'all cover a wide variety of topics, so it's real easy for anyone to find something that they line up with. Obviously, the barbershop talk, that episode, that one related to me the most. But also the undivorceable episode, like hearing about that touching love story, like literally that sounds like something out of a movie, man. Like y'all meet each other and then several years pass and then y'all meet each other again and then more time goes by. Like, dude, that was incredible, man. So no matter whether it's love or whether it's geeky material, cartoons, Black Lives Matter, Asian discrimination, like it doesn't matter what it is, I guarantee there's something that will touch you if you just gives this the chance and the time. And I think I have a theory about why the Origins episode was number one, because I feel like that if somebody was touched by a certain episode, that when they seen that there was an episode about your origin, the show's origin, that they felt invested to listen to that because they were so touched by what y'all supplied to them that they wanted to know, okay, well, how did y'all, start this? So that's my theory. I'm sticking to it, boom.
And thank you, CJ, for that wonderful promotional soundbite that I want to use when I edit
You
this
know what?
episode.
I don't appreciate CJ being a better speaker than me. I don't like that at all.
Oh man.
All right, and this kind of I think CJ, my cousin Tiffany, and Christina, and CJ and Kitty, of course, PJ and Kitty, they probably the only people that made me break, like not really character, but like make me just break the fourth wall or whatever you want to call it, because I try to keep my composure on this show and I try to be the general and just hold it down. But man, like y'all four really had know how to just to like break me, man. So I really enjoyed y'all on this show. And I got last but not least, our two generals, my two compadres. I start with Lee. Lee, what's your what would you say your favorite episode and why you love this show so much, especially being one of the creators?
You know, if I had gone to any mainstream media outlet and said to them, hey, I've got this idea for a podcast discussion where we talk about how watching cartoons meant for children is therapeutic, I would have seen the backside of a door. Yet when I come together with Calvin and tell him, "Hey, I got this idea for a podcast," and I think it's something that people that will actually resonate with people because it's something we all kind of do, but we don't talk about. He let me roll with it, and that's what straight up kind of is to me. Is like, hey, your voice matters, and you have ideas that matter, and that's something I'd never had before. I had this outlet, and that's to me what that episode in particular encompasses.
Right, and it's funny he says that because we have an episode that we have not aired yet because it's once again it's one of Lee's brilliant controversial episodes. But I am looking forward to this episode in season 4 that we've been holding on for so long.
It needed some time in the kitchen, and we're still cooking. But man, y'all are gonna feast.
Y'all gonna feast, and I promise you, it's either gonna get us more ratings or get us canceled. But that's Lee, ladies and gentlemen. like, and so let's end it with Brandon. Brandon.
So my favorite episode has to still be the barbershop talk, and for a couple of reasons. One, that's the first time I've technically been in a barbershop. Two, two, that one, those that just topic is pretty much to me, um, straight up in a nutshell. You know, if it's one thing I've loved, what straight up has done is really bring other cultures to the conversation, which you hear me say it all the time. It's a huge issue with I have with America. A huge issue I have with America. We're so close to us, and I think you really bring that to the show pretty well. Even though the whole thing about the Asian episode, I mean, I jokingly called you the Black Mr. Worldwide. Seriously, but I think what I'm going to do for this next season, which I think will become the next top 10, is probably bring Courtney and force him on the show. Yeah,
Whoa.
try to force Courtney on the show.
Did you see my
'Cause
face? I was like,
if
whoa.
there's anybody, because I'm blunt and I'm straight up, if there's somebody who's definitely straight up and will definitely bring some hate mail, it's Courtney.
This is like breaking news right now. This is like wow. And for those of you who don't know, Courtney is the unofficial. He is the fourth member of our little crew, that our creator crew that made Straight Up. But he is just like a hermit crab. He's not. He's anti social media. He's anti everything. And I need
I
to. I need
spent
to
a little
second.
time around him, and I couldn't even tell you what Courtney's voice sounds like. I would try to get him to speak, and he would just literally turn his head away from me. And I was like, okay.
Just trying to keep it together, right? All right. So I had the posters. I gotta find it. But we used to do the school news, and Courtney did the weather. And Lee, I don't know if you remember this or not, but Courtney was like the unofficial weather guy, and like we had like a graphics creator. I think it was you, Brandon,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody didn't change the graphics when Courtney cued it, and Courtney gave this like, man, if you don't change, like it was like he about to beat somebody up, man. Like I'm sorry, it's one of those things you had to be there. But yeah, if you get Courtney, man, that would be like a top 10 for sure.
I
Because
think that's a goal for mine for the next.
and
For
Courtney
the
is a
next season.
male. Is a male, by the way. Courtney is a male.
I would love to see that happen because in school there was like either neither of you or both of you when I would see you guys. Like It was
Yeah.
y'all were Batman and Robin of sorts. Like, it was always the two. Rarely just, hey Brandon, no, there's Courtney.
Yeah. So if you can bring Courtney, like we should have like a "Where's Courtney" episode. Like, who is Courtney? Like a show dedicated to
Yeah.
figure out who is Courtney.
Yeah.
Because Courtney, he man, you gotta love Courtney. So yeah, Courtney, this is definitely for you, man. Love you if you're out there, man. I know you're working hard. He's in media too right now, so he is working hard. Um, I guess I'll end it with my favorite episode. I mean, I think, of course, I think my two favorite are definitely the barbershop episode, and PJ and Kitty's Undivorceable because we got a chance to tackle like because one. I say the barbershop because these are the men. It was amazing to see these men that I knew from childhood and to got to witness them become men. And that was encouraging to me trying to find myself as a man. And, I get discredited for not being a man from certain people. And just to be in the barbershop is a figurative language, not an actual barbershop, but a place to where black men can go and speak without being reprimanded or shut up, whatever. And I think that's why I had the episode because I was able to vent and heal from it. But and the PJ and Kitty episode in Undivorceable about relationships because I'm single, I don't have any kids, whatever, yada yada yada. But it was able to put like I guess like OGs to the dating game and against me and Christina who were single with no kids and we're up in age. And it was kind of like, wow, they were just dropping gems and knowledge. And it's like, dang, man, like I need to reevaluate myself. And it was an episode that me and Christina didn't fight, you know what I mean? And it was like we were actually listening, but they were just dropping stuff. And I think those two episodes are probably the most straight up episodes ever because PJ and Kitty definitely dropped some bombs on the episode.
Hey, I just spent that whole episode trying to defend myself. I couldn't focus on you.
Yeah, I know you can't focus on me because me and Christina were getting it from PJ and Kitty. They were giving it to us, and it was no backing down. Like every kind of issue we had about relationships, they had an answer for it and said no. And so, but once again, I do want to send my condolences to their family about the loss of their father. So, but definitely love them. I think what makes me enjoy the show, Lee said something earlier about pitching the show and having it closed in your face. And that's actually happened to me and Brandon at our previous employer in media. We actually pitched this concept because our station had like a 24-hour network and they were looking for content. It was kind of the same approach we had in college. We had a open TV space and they were looking for content. And this content straight up worked so well at our college. And we not only thought of a way to do it to not only give back to the community, but to people who wanted to get into the media business and let this be an avenue for them to practice and, et cetera. And of course, Lee, we had the door slammed in our face and it sucked. And I think one of the reasons why we quit the TV show, why I quit, and y'all don't have to follow me, but I quit because, it wasn't organic. I think if you're watching this episode and you see me looking down, because I'm actually looking at stuff and I don't like to do that. I hate being scripted. And that's what the show is not about. And that's why we quit because they wanted to script it. I'm like, that's not us. We don't do that. And another reason is because there are so many voices out there who don't have the opportunity to have their voice heard. Whether it's music, because you don't have the followers, you don't have an actual band, or if it's a issue you're having with the community, especially the gay community. I want to provide a platform to where people can speak out and not only to voice their concerns or and tell people what they're going through, but to educate people, to educate me who had a friend who's gay and I grew up with a homophobic mindset or didn't think about Asian. I was kind of insensitive to Asian discrimination. And I publicly said this and I was educated on it. And so many people, even to my personal life, tell me to, shut up and kind of try to keep me quiet. But, and Brandon can tell you this, because I say it all the time, but, I don't look at no as a stopping point. I look at no like NO as next opportunity, because I won't let anybody tell me that I can't do something. And I think that's what the passion was for the show, was that people were telling me that I couldn't do it or I couldn't do it, you know. And I want to take this time to thank my two co-hosts, Brandon and Lee, because they kept me strong. And more so Lee, because there have been some days that I cried out to Lee and said, hey man, like, don't let me, you know, quit this. And I think because so many people like this, it is to see that we're here in a year later, that it's reassuring that we're doing something great, and the people that are listening, they love what we do. I don't know what the future holds for me, because COVID is finally, we praying that it's lifting up, and there are going to be more opportunities for us to do more opportunities with our voice and stuff. But this platform will always be here. And I want to thank all of you for listening to our show throughout this year. Those who stuck with us from day one, from the very first episode on TV, thank you, because there would be no us without you. And thank you for letting us go into your ears and listen to us, buying our merchandise. We love you all. But I leave you with this. Have a dream, but make sure you dream bigger than that dream, because nobody can stop you but you. So that being said, that is a wrap. We have made it into a 1-year anniversary. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Wow. Christina, Lee, Charles, CJ, same person. But Brandon, thank you. I mean, 1 year, man. Where do we go from here?
Nowhere but straight up. Nowhere but straight up.
Bars.
That's pretty tight. I know that's pretty tight.
I'm gonna let you have that moment.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, like I said, before we go, I want to give a special shout out to our friends in Bangladesh, Nima and other friend Freelancer Pro, who are in Bangladesh. They are part of our team in Bangladesh. They have helped us from day one on giving us not only our graphics that you see, well, the logo itself, but, you know, revamping our logo and kind of teaching me how to do social media. Because I, like, if y'all don't know, I suck at social media. I hate social media. But if it wasn't for Nima and other friend, Freelancer Pro, and in Bangladesh, you know, the show wouldn't be as great. So give them a shout out. Thank y'all once again, Nima and Freelancer Pro, for being a part of our Straight Up Show podcast and making it come alive on the visual side of it. Until then, that's a wrap for season 3. Season 4 coming soon. Unfortunately, you might have to wait a little longer for season 4 because I need some time off. You know, it's a little personal going on, but if you all keep me in your prayers, I'm taking some time off to do some things personally. But we will be back in the coming months. But until then, we want you to join the conversation. Go to our website. If you want to support us, go to our Patreon page. That's Straight Up Show Podcast 318 at patreon.com. Make sure you go, if you want to support us, we have 4 tiers. I think it's 3, 5, 10, and 20. We do have the support. So one of our supporters, give her a shout out, Lori Pennywell. She wants to give a shout out, Lori.
Happy birthday, Straight Up. Straight Up. Congratulations, Calvin. A year of entertaining, a year of informing. I love your podcast. I love when you take us around to the different continents, Europe, Africa. That was fun. Enjoyed and very informative. I also love the way that you explain your politics and the information you gave with COVID. I think I also love the one when you did the reunion. Not that I think, but I know. The one you did with the reunion from other schoolmates when you describing how you all created Straight Up. Keep going. Keep persevering. Love you. Say bye. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Lori. So once again, if you want to support our podcast, go out and support our podcast. You want to buy our merch, you can go to our website at straightupshowpodcast.com. That's straightupshowpodcast.com. That's STR8UP podcast.com. Until then, that's a wrap. How do y'all feel? You feeling good?
Yeah.
Good, feeling great.
Feel amazing.
All right. So until next time, until season 4, that's a wrap for us. There's only one rule to our show is you gotta be
Straight up.
Straight up.
Oh my God, Christina said it, y'all.
I said it. I said it. You can't say anything.
It's a miracle.
I thought about not doing it, but I did it. So.
Hold on, but you know what? It didn't come out clearly. You just say it one more time. Just one more time.
One more time. Yeah, say it,
CJ,
Christina.
no.
Well, we'll take what we can get. Y'all have a great time. Thank y'all once again for supporting our podcast. See you in season 4. Take care.